Hockey town, going down to hockey town, whoa, whoa. Hockey town, take me down to hockey town, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection Show is on the air. We're at the PACT-TV studios in Duluth, and it's Monday, the last day of January, January 31st. And today we got, another goalie. And, he's going to tell us a lot about goaltending for young kids today and camps, and which we need in Minnesota. I'm telling you, I've been watching a lot of hockey. But Taras Lenzik, former UMD goalie for 4 years. He put in a lot of games in the early 90s, right?
Early 90s, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you.
Happy to be here, Jerry.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking me to be here.
So, where are you originally from?
Originally from Wynyard, Saskatchewan, Canada. Lived there in Saskatchewan all my life up until the day I came down here to Minnesota and went to school at UMD.
Okay, that's the big question now. Who recruited you?
The coaches back then were Glenn Kulik, and obviously...
Great guy. I love that guy.
Great guy, yeah. And Glenny had his ties to Saskatchewan as well, being from Prince Albert. So, then of course, Mike Surdich was the head coach, and Jim Knapp the other assistant.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Right before that, a friend of mine, Mike Randolph, was a coach 1 year or 2 years there in the mid-'80s.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
yeah, good. So I'm just looking at some of your background, and you played for the Humboldt Broncos and juniors before you came down here, huh?
I did, yes. So the way I got going with hockey is we don't play high school hockey.
Right.
We just play association hockey. And being in Wynyard, it's a town of 1,200 people. But I was scouted and recruited. Actually, I ended up in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, played for the AAA Warriors, midget AAA hockey, the highest level of hockey I could for that age group. I left home at 16 and played a year there. After that season, I did go back home to Wynyard, and I just played association hockey for a year, but was scouted and recruited to play for the Humboldt Broncos from 90 through 92.
And if anyone doesn't know, boy, what a tragedy, that bus accident back in 2017, 18, something like that.
I think it's going to be 5 years this
Boy,
year.
I bet that hit home, even though you haven't played there for 30 years, that had to hit home to you.
It actually did. My brother sent me a message asking if I had heard about the bus crash. And I really didn't think, with what had happened, I wasn't expecting anything of what had happened. I thought maybe just the bus slid off the road on their way to a game. And then I started watching the news reports, and I was just devastated, like so many other people in the hockey world.
Right. And I was just talking to someone, and I don't know why we brought this up, Humboldt, but the guy I was talking to says, I'm reading that book that the player that survived, I guess Caleb Dahlgren.
Caleb Dahlgren, yep.
Yeah,
Actually, I have the book as well. It was sent to me by a very special lady.
Crossroads, right?
Yes, it is. And so I have that book as well. Unfortunately, I haven't started reading it yet, but I do plan on getting to it.
I'm going to get it. But he was saying, boy, it's a great book, he said right away. I mean, he said he's not done yet, but it just keeps your interest and everything. What a great story. I mean, for what he went through and that, and the team and the city and everything, the whole world. That's one thing I like about hockey, When something bad or good happens, everyone gets together and helps out. I mean, it's amazing to me what happens. When that happened, everywhere in the world, we're carrying hockey people about this story, and they wanted to help, and they didn't know how to help, and just a lot of good things happened because of this.
Yep, absolutely. And if we even take a look at what just happened recently with the kid, I think it was out in
Back east, yeah.
Yes, Balkan, I think the kid's name was, and just the outpouring of support from all levels of hockey, the NHL down to even high school, just to show their support. I mean, it's just a great community of people involved with hockey.
Right. And you playing goaltending at UMD, you played 4 years there. You put a lot of games in.
Yeah, it was interesting, my 4 years there. When I first came in, my first season, I played every Saturday night. Jerome Butler from Salem, Minnesota, had been there a year already. He played Friday nights. And the only time I played back-to-back that first year was at the NCAA tournament in Detroit, Michigan. And that was the first time I played back-to-back. It was Brown University and then Lake Superior State. We
Really?
ended up losing to
Was there a
Lake Superior
reason you played back-to-back? Was the other goalie hurt then, or what?
State. No, I think it was just...
You're playing good then.
I was playing well, and the coaches felt it was time to just go with the one guy, and so they went with me. Unfortunately, the outcomes, the second game against Lake State wasn't favorable, but it was, it's just the way they wanted the season to go that year.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of funny, I think last year when UMD had Stetsko, I mean, they were switching back and forth and that, and then Stetsko, ever heard that story where he got sick there, and now Fanti is playing every game, but it's nice I'm just looking back. I don't know if you knew any of these goalies from before, but I see Bob Nason, Stalock, Hunter Miska. You just, and now the ones they have now. There's so many goalies. Casey.
UMD has been a program that has some tremendous goaltenders come through it. Chico Resch as well.
Yeah, I see
Rick
him.
Costi.
Yeah.
I think he was there for 3 years, I believe it was. You got Chad Erickson out of, was it Warroad or Roseau, one of those communities up there. Brant Nicklin from Comox, British Columbia. And of course, Alex Stalock and
Bob Mason.
Bob Mason. I'm forgetting the one kid's name. Anyways, and you look at the goaltenders now, and the great thing about it, with UMD, when a goaltender has been, whether injured or they just switched it up, the coach has switched up the rotation, UMD's been very fortunate that whoever has stepped in has done well.
Right.
And that's what you want for your program.
Right. That's one place they found some good ones.
Here's another example. You look at the women's program today, and Emma Soderberg, who's from Sweden, and she's playing for her nation in the Olympics.
Right.
And then JoJo steps in and has a tremendous weekend against, I think it was Ohio State.
Yeah, they were number one then, I think.
Absolutely. So it's that, for whatever reason, the UMD program has just had a great rotation of goalies come through, and I'm proud to be one of them.
So you played for Team Canada in
Spengler Cup, yeah.
Yep. And then you played a couple games with the San Jose, or dressed for them.
Yep.
And then you had 4 years in the ECHC and pros.
Yep, the East Coast Hockey League, ECHL. Yeah, great experience. I remember my first year was down in South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina. Rick Vive was the head coach, and if anybody doesn't know Rick Vive, he was a pure goal scorer in the NHL the days that he played up there. So.
Well, you've been coached by some big names there, Bruce Cassidy and Bruce Boudreau.
Bruce Boudreau. Yeah.
Boudreau, yeah.
It was funny because when I was down in the minors, and I was down in Trenton. Bruce Cassidy, Butch Cassidy, was the head coach there in Trenton. Got called up to the Lowell Lock Monsters of the American Hockey League, and Bruce Boudreau was the head coach there. And the goalie that I backed up was Roberto Luongo, who had an outstanding career in the NHL.
That's amazing. And some of the names of those East Coast teams are, was it one of them Checkers?
The Charlotte Checkers. I played for the Charlotte Checkers, yep.
I bet they checked on that team.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yep.
But, and then you got a friend that you grew up with, Jared Bednar.
Jared Bednar, yep.
Bednar.
So he's from Humboldt, Saskatchewan. So growing up, used to play association hockey against him. And then we played together with the Humboldt Broncos. And when our junior careers were done, and I was done my 4 years of college hockey, we ended up in South Carolina together playing for the Stingrays. And that year that we were playing together, I think we were the first team in the 10-year history of the league to not only win the regular season championship, but we also won the playoff championship that year.
Great. And so how far is your hometown to Humboldt?
About 70 miles.
Oh, geez, you're
So
right.
now,
Nice.
hop, skip, and a jump.
That's nice. So you didn't leave really home then
No.
when you went down there on your year before you came to college.
No.
How old were you when you came into college? Right away, 18, 19?
Well, when I came in the fall of '96, I would have been 20.
Okay.
So at the end of the season,
Still young.
still young.
Yeah, back then, the WCHA, I mean, well, even way back when I was going to school at UMD, when Chico Resch was there, they, like Michigan Tech and Denver would have all these Canadians, you know, and they played in Tier 1 up there, and they were always like 22, 23, 24 years old, I mean,
Yep.
when they came in. So now we're moving along. So now you're coaching, your goalie schools. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing with coaching, because myself, in my opinion, I go to a lot of hockey games, and I just don't understand why Minnesota can't produce a lot more goalies in this state. And I don't know what the problem is.
When I first came back here, there was really nothing for high-level goalie coaching. Was there some going on? Yes, and there still is. To me, the biggest problem is the associations aren't really putting in the time to develop goaltenders. Not only that, when we look at all associations, it's hard to get just coaches. And trying to find a goalie coach to work with your association or for your team is even harder. Coaches will put a lot of time and effort into developing practice plans for the team, but they don't put anything into it for the goaltenders. And what ends up happening is the goaltenders are there for practice, but all they do is get shots. And a lot of the goalie coaching that they get is from someone who doesn't know goaltending, and it's stay out on top of your crease, come out to cut the angle down, and that's really it. And there is so much more into it than that, and unfortunately, a lot of kids that are coming up and that are in it today just aren't getting the proper coaching.
Boy, I've been watching some of these teams, and some of them are really good skating teams, but I'm not going to mention the team, but
Nope.
one team, they've been playing three goalies because not one of them can really stop the puck. And I mean, I don't go to a lot of their games. I don't know how many odd man rushes and stuff like that, or how many shots from the perimeter, but their best goalie is 80%, and you can't win games when you're 80%. No problem. I mean, it might not be the goalie's problem even, you know. I don't know what the team's doing as defense-wise and how they cover the middle or whatever, you know.
And there's a lot that goes into it, right? Whether it's, where the shot's coming from. Are they coming from inside the house or the
Right.
slot area, whatever you want to call it. But if you're not giving the goalies the attention, they can't develop. And that's the biggest thing. If you look at goaltending in the NHL today, you look at their save percentages, and the top goalies in the NHL have a 93, 94, or 94, 93, 92% save percentage. It's amazing compared to what it was. You look at the style of goaltending as well, and it has changed drastically from the stand-up goaltending of the 70s and 80s to the, you call it a hybrid system of the Marty Brodeur and the one that made it famous, Dominic Hasek, to a very boring style today of a butterfly.
Right.
And, if you don't have coaches that have learned those styles and know how to adapt to coaching it, you're going to hurt a goalie just as well as not giving a goalie coaching as well.
I was just thinking, we're just talking about your friend coaching Colorado, which is the hottest team in the National Hockey League. I think they've won about 10 in a row now, and I think at home about 17.
17 straight at home.
Yeah, but you know what's so funny? That's been my team for the last 3-4 years, to win it all. And they have goaltending. I worry about their goaltending to get them to the final. I mean, that final spot. I mean,
I don't know what it is. Like you look at Bruce Boudreau as well, who coached with the Washington Capitals. I mean, for his years there, and even in Minnesota, had some great regular season teams, and they get to the playoffs and it was a failure. The same thing has kind of happened with Colorado. They've had a great team in the regular season the last couple of years, but have faltered in the playoffs. And they made the switch. They brought in Darcy Kemper and Saskatchewan boy. And I really hope that this year is the year that they can progress down the playoffs and get far, hopefully
Right.
to the Stanley Cup.
Right.
I'd like to see it.
Right, because my favorite player is McKinnon. I just love that guy watching him. Man, he does it all, and he's so strong on that puck.
Well, he's just so shifty. You look at Cale Makar on
But
that
the whole
squad as well.
his line mates though too. I mean,
Rantanen
they're so skilled.
Yeah.
It's just so fun, and now they got a couple D that really they look like forwards.
Exactly. Yeah, Cale Makar is just unbelievable to watch.
And they move that puck.
Yeah, yeah.
So hey, what do you in hockey and goaltending now teaching? What are you doing right now in the Twin Ports area?
Okay, so this year I've been fortunate enough to work with the Duluth Northern Stars and the girls' high school program in Duluth. And I worked with Jamie Plesha, the head coach, a little bit over the past year. And for this season, she asked that I help out. And it's actually been a lot of fun to see the growth of the team and the goaltenders as well. With other association hockey, I work with Jerry Picard. He's the head coach of the
Bantam,
East
right?
Bantam Double A's,
Right.
and he asked me to work with his goalies this year. So I've been working with them, and then also with the Hermantown Pee Wee Double A team, I've been working with their goalie. So it's been busy, but it's been a lot of fun, and to watch the progression of these goalies from the start, actually from the summer to where they are now, it's been a lot of fun.
So working your regular job and then doing the goalie training, schooling, man, you're busy.
I am busy and looking to do more. I mean, when the association hockey comes to an end, and I'm working on it right now, and hopefully we can talk about this on another day, but the AAA hockey program that I got started about 5 years ago with a couple other guys, Dave Pierce and Nate Kukowski, we started, I think, with 4 teams, and now we're up to 14. And we're a development AAA program. We are the premier
In this area.
in this area. We are the
So
premier
this is
AAA hockey
summer
development.
or fall
Spring,
league?
summer, basically.
Spring, summer.
Yep. So the premier AAA hockey development program in the Twin Ports area.
What age?
North of the Twin Cities. So for the boys' side, we just started one this year, 2014 birth year. And then the youngest on the girls' side is our 8U girls. So on the girls' side, we have 8U, 10U, 12U. We have 2 12U girls teams, a 14U and 16U. And then on the boys' side, 2014 team, 2013, 2012, 2011, 2010, 2009, and 2008 birth years.
So basically 14 years and not younger.
Yep, yep. So
And you got how many kids on the team?
14.
14. Boy, that's a lot of kids you got signed up for that. So they play within each other then, these teams?
No,
Or
no.
you have to go, you travel a lot?
We go down to the cities for tournaments. I know my 2008 team is going to be going out to Bismarck for a
Like
tournament.
Bernie McBain's teams or MAP teams?
I don't know about that. I mean, are you talking map out of the cities?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we play like showcase hockey tournaments down in the
Okay.
cities.
Get tournaments together, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do
There's
development
no
up here.
league play, it's just a
No
tournament.
league.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, I got a friend out in California, has 3 kids playing hockey in AAA, and he's got them at different age groups, and there's only 2 other pro teams out there, and his traveling time just to go to practices and they're different, it's crazy. And then he has to go all over the United States because they don't get the games out there, San Jose and Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then they got Anaheim because they play for the LA. And it's crazy how much he spends over $100,000 on those 3 kids for traveling, practice time.
Yep.
And what it costs for practice is, I don't know how people can afford that stuff.
I don't know either. I don't know. Yeah, so another day, we'll have to talk about that another day.
Yeah, but I wanna get into now, like I say, I'm really wondering why Minnesota doesn't have, what do you think we have to do? Because I look at the Twin Cities, I mean, we got another Duluth boy that runs the goal crease that does
Yep.
very good down there, and
Yep.
he helps a lot of goalies in the Twin Cities, and it's costly. But we don't have much up here on anything in training, like skating and that. Like we used to have Andy Ness, and the good kids that had money used to run down to the cities just for, get some
Well,
lessons from top people.
So that was, we kind of were getting into it, and then we got off a little bit, but there was some goalie coaching going on. What level, I have no idea. I know of one other guy around here that does goalie training. He played high school hockey. You as a parent, if you're trusting your training to someone that just played high school hockey, I don't know if that's the best investment. If you look at what I'm trying to do, you take a look at my staff. Jerry Picard, who has coached goaltenders, he's originally from Duluth as well.
Okay.
Went
I know
out,
who.
okay, went out to Washington and has coached high-level goaltending. He's, the Everett Silvertips of the Western Hockey League. Patty Elsmore is on my staff. Patty Elsmore played for the UMD Bulldogs.
Right.
I think she won 3 national championships with them. Not only that, made the Swiss national team. Represented her country when she was 15 years old. That's where you want to get to. She made that at 15 years old. She's on my staff. Rob Anderson, UMD, former
Right.
UMD goaltender. I know he played with the Kalamazoo Wings. I forget what league they were in. But he's played at a high level. He's on my staff. Tim Cortez,
Great guy.
great guy.
Great coach, too.
Yep.
He's helped a lot of those East goalies over the last 5 years. This Callaway now up in Hermantown,
He's
he's a stud, I think.
Yeah, he's one of my students. And, Tim Cortez played at East, played for the Gophers.
Right.
And he has coached, he's been the goalie coach for the Duluth East Greyhounds high school team for many years. Fortunately, not this year.
Right.
And then you look at some of the help that you can get outside of who's on your staff. Ryan Fanti, Zach
Right.
Stacecall, Ben Pat, all of the UMD Bulldogs
Really.
are part of what we do.
Really.
JoJo and Holly Gruber and Emma Soderberg, UMD Bulldogs, all helping out with what we do. The St. Scholastica goalies, they're not going to be happy with me because I forget their names right now. But we had them out helping with us this past summer. And when you have goaltenders like that and the experience that they have on your staff and helping the kids, you as a parent, why wouldn't you want to get them involved? High-level coaching, they know what it takes to be successful. They know what it takes to get to a high level.
Even if they just want to get to high school and play in high school, why wouldn't you get your kids ready for that, It's amazing how talented these teams are now, especially in the Twin Cities, when they're young. But I know they have more money, and I know there's better opportunities down there, but we got to start doing stuff like you're doing right now on every level, skating, shooting, everything,
Well, that's part of it too. If you look at what associations do, I don't want to, no, I can't, let me rephrase that. It's not what associations do. But oftentimes what happens is the kid that ends up in net is not the athletic kid. And that's nothing against them. It just happens if an association needs a goaltender, it's, hey, do you want to play net? And that kid ends up playing goalie. Your goalie should be one of the most athletic kids on your team. And oftentimes what's happening is they're not. And that can have an effect on the progression of the development of the kid as well.
So
You want a strong skater.
when do you think these parents should start considering getting some help from goalie coaches? What age you think would be a good? Is there? I know everyone can be different.
Okay, so here's an example. I became full-time goaltender at 14. I wore player skates till I was 16. Nowadays, you have kids that are being full-time goaltenders earlier than that, 8, 9 years old. I'm not going to tell a parent when their kid should be a full-time goaltender, but young kids need to be playing multiple positions to understand the game so that when they're back in net, they can see things, they can understand things, and from what they learned as a forward or a defenseman, they can use that
Right.
to
Know the game.
know the game and
See
and
the ice better.
visualize. So, if a kid really wants to be a goalie, and you probably want to get them goalie coaching as soon as you can.
So funny, when I'm growing up, we had over 40 rinks that are flooded every night almost here in Duluth. And that outdoor, we're just rink rats. And like you're saying, the one that doesn't have the talent are a lot younger. They're the first ones that put the Life Post magazine around their shins, and then they were in the nets, you know.
Yeah.
It was just funny how that's how we got goalies back in those days. You know, no
Yeah.
one wanted to play goalie; everyone wanted to score.
Right.
And nowadays, these kids have to stay in hockey all year round if they want to be in the elite area, try to get to that area. And to me, I don't like that either, because I like kids to try different sports and different seasons and that. But now, because of the way it is, I mean, you go down in the cities, that's all they do all year round.
Yep.
I mean, those rinks are full.
Yeah. Hey, you brought up a point as well, the outdoor hockey. You go to any of these arenas here locally in Duluth, surrounding areas, you see a ton of kids out there rink ratting, right? A lot of times what you don't see is a goalie, which is fine, because hopefully those goalies don't have the pads on and they're out there skating and working on their edge work and balance and other things that they can use as a player in net. But it is nice to see at times, which we don't have enough of, is a goalie out rink ratting. And we need to see more of it.
Almost like a Staylock. He was a forward at goalie.
Hey, I'm going to say this though. We're going to talk about Stalick and his puck handling. I mean,
There wasn't anyone better.
There's only one goalie with 11 points in UNB history, and it's not Alex Stalock.
So is that one of your records?
That's one of my records. In fact, Serdy, I think I have more points than
Who
Mike
helped
Surdich.
Who helped you get that point? You had Derek Plant on your team, right?
For 1 year, yep.
And who else? You had Brett Larson?
Brett Larson,
'Cause I
we
just
were
came
teammates.
back in Minnesota, and I went to a lot of UMD games and Gopher games back then.
Yeah. So my freshman year, we had, what a team we had. Derek Plant, Brett Howard, Joe Biondi, John Roloff.
Playing the Gophers back then. Oh, the old WCHA, those were
Yeah.
great times when you have North Dakota, Gophers, Wisconsin. I mean, those were just big series.
Chris Marinucci, Rusty
Yeah,
Fitzgerald.
Chris,
Oh,
yeah.
Jeez Christ, we had some good players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So what's the name of your camp? You have a camp, right?
Yeah, right now, the apparel business and the goalie camps are under Goalies Matter. However, with the popularity of the camps, it is undergoing a name change and a new brand. I'm not going to share that yet.
Okay, but when you do, can you give me the information? We can put it out on our Facebook
Absolutely.
and YouTube and stuff like that, because I like get all the coaches we can up north here and help these kids, because they're keep this game going strong, because the numbers might be falling, but we can make it fun and teach these kids the right way.
Exactly.
So is there a number that people can call you if they just want to get into your goalie
Yep.
right now?
So right now they can go to the website that is current, which is goaliesmatter.com. And then the phone number 218-310-1329. That will be directly to me. Any questions, obviously I love answering them. So
Okay, great. It's 218-310?
310?
1329?
Yes, sir.
I got it.
Yep.
Well, Terrace, it was great having you here, and we're going to have you back as soon as you get your new thing going.
Absolutely.
And hey, have a good day with the girls team.
Absolutely. Pleasure being here, Jerry. So look
Okay.
forward to it again.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.